We turn now to a leading voice on family leave, Adrienne Schweer. She's a fellow at the Bipartisan Policy Center, where she leads its paid family leave task force. Adrienne, it's great to have you here. Tell us about what the biggest sticking points have been in the family leave discussions for both sides, Democrats and Republicans. Any overlap?
That's such a great question. The best answer to it is that there's a lot of areas of agreement. Both Republicans and Democrats from across the country, from across ideological spectrum, seem to really agree on the idea that new moms and new dads who are giving birth or adopting and sometimes even fostering a new baby should have a robust paid family leave benefit. Where they get into areas of disagreement is expanding that to cover family caregivers, those caring for a loved one who might be going through chemo or who is who got hit by a car, or self-care. We call it medical leave, to care for yourself if one of those tragic things happens to you and has to take you away from work. But really where they get into areas of disagreement is how you pay for it, which is always a question when you're talking about some type of program that has a cost associated, and what the structure looks like of that benefit. But I think it's remarkable that in the time I've been working on this issue, 6 years ago, there were almost no Republicans talking about it at all. Then candidate Trump had one policy platform in his presidential campaign, and it was around paid maternity leave. And since that time, a lot of Republicans have started to work on this issue and are thinking about new solutions and trying to work across the aisle with Democrats. It won't surprise you that this last year, it's been hard to find bipartisan collaboration on these issues that have been often tied up in the Build Back Better program that Democrats were pushing through reconciliation. But I am very hopeful that in light of all of the data that we're experiencing on families and hardships today, that we'll see more bipartisan collaboration around this issue, especially since there's so much agreement around parental leave.
And it might not be a conversation that was being had on the Hill, but it's definitely one that faith communities have been a part of. Do you find that they're willing partners and leaders in this debate?
100%. And that way before the leak from the Supreme Court with the decision coming down right now, way before that, we saw the faith community really align as paid family leave is really a pro-family issue. And I'll give you a couple of the reasons. I mean, if a mother has time with her baby at the beginning of life, she is much more likely to have a strong breastfeeding connection, to have time to recover and enter those beautiful weeks where the baby can smile back at you and is sleeping a little bit. You have a healthier postpartum experience, less likely to have things like postpartum depression. It's really an important part of maternal health and mom and baby well-being, but also around dads. This is my favorite thing that a lot of the faith community has really rallied around. When a dad is present for the birth of his child, his body releases a hormone called oxytocin. It's like a love potion that makes him fall more in love with his partner and with his baby. And that family connectivity, that mom and dad really bonding alongside that baby in those first days, weeks of life, creates a much stronger family fabric. And that's where we've seen a lot of the faith community rally around the necessity for protecting this time. As many of you know, 1 in 4 moms in America, this is all pre-pandemic, so I'm sure it's worse, was going back to work within 10 to 14 days of giving birth. That is catastrophic. 1 in 4 women going back to work within 10 to 14 days of giving birth is really terrifying. They're not their whole selves. They're often nurses and teachers, not returning to behind the desk jobs, returning to hard jobs. And I think that has what's brought those types of data points are what have brought the faith community really around.
It's an important factor, especially now, as you mentioned, bringing up the abortion decision that's coming up. Do you think that reality, the fact that abortion was legal in this country, is legal in this country, has blocked the development of better policies for women in the workplace, since it's assumed that abortion is a mainstream option for unexpected pregnancies?
I don't think so. I don't think that it has been a Roe Wade catalyst that has helped things. I don't think that has been the obstruction. I think it has been the willingness to work across the aisle and compromise. And we just haven't seen compromise on this issue. We have great champions, great pro-family conservative champions, Marco Rubio, Mitt Romney, Mike Lee, Joni Ernst, Bill Cassidy from the Senate, all of these really strong conservatives that want to work on paid leave. And they've struggled to find Democratic dance partners that are willing to kind of think outside the box or outside of the, 1 or 2 policies that Democrats have really rallied around. So I don't think it's a derivative of the abortion debate. I do believe that both sides know that new babies and new moms need to be cared for and need policies of support, and that paid parental leave and paid family leave really fit that box. I just don't think they've been motivated to collaborate.
Adrienne, let's move this into the corporate America world. We're seeing companies like Microsoft and Tesla offer to pay for the cost and travel of an abortion. Are companies reacting to providing paid leave benefits as well?
So that is a great question. About 5 or 6 years ago, we saw a really robust transition across the corporate community to offer bigger and better paid parental and fits. Some companies giving up to a year, some going 6 months, some going 12 weeks full paid. We're seeing all kinds of other supplements to help new parents stay connected to the workforce. But over the last week or two, with this, with the leak from the Supreme Court, you have not seen companies come out and make new announcements about how they're going to expand parental leave to support their workers. And the biggest problem there is that a lot of the big companies already offer some form of paid leave to their white collar headquarter workers. Some even offer it, like Walmart, down to their hourly workers. But you're not seeing a lot of those benefits go to the lower wage workers, the hourly workers across the country who often need it most to make their paychecks and are the ones returning to work 10, 14 days after giving birth.
That's definitely difficult. Who are the leaders then? You have Chuck Schumer, who reacted to the leaked draft of the Supreme Court decision with a call for passage of the Women's Health Protection Act codifying abortion. Are there efforts like this, draft legislation at any stage, for paid leave?
Paid leave has seen quite a stagnant situation. It hasn't seen robust proposals that are new and bold and getting ideas to the table in the last couple of weeks. And you certainly haven't seen the momentum that you just mentioned that Schumer brought to the floor on the abortion issue transcend its way into paid leave. That should change. It needs to change. It's going to require people across both sides of the political spectrum to demand that change. And it's one of the things that I think is hardest, because in some ways we're spending time in the Senate working on pieces of legislation that we know are going to fail when we know that there's bipartisanship and probably 60 votes to pass a meaningful paid leave program. We just need people to work on those ideas. I will flag for you, there is one proposal coming up that I'm pretty excited about that protects pregnant workers. It really helps prevent against discrimination at work against a pregnant woman, and also encourages reasonable accommodation, and being able to take a water bottle to your manufacturing line, an extra bathroom break, the kinds of things that really give you a chance at a healthy pregnancy, supported by groups like the March of Dimes and the Catholic bishops and the Chamber of Commerce, because it's very pro-business, very pro-family. And I'm very hopeful that that bill, at the least, it's not paid leave, but at least is better protecting working women who are pregnant, will come to the floor in the very near future.
Well, that's something to be hopeful for, and we'll be looking out for any new proposals. Thank you so much, Adrienne.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.